Dear students, today we are moving on to Module 5 Advanced JavaScript. In this module, we will be discussing some detailed information regarding JavaScript, that is, Advanced JavaScript, browser management and media management, classes, constructors, object oriented techniques in JavaScript, object constructor and prototyping, subclasses and superclasses. JSON, jQuery, and Ajax. So these are the organization of this module. Total 9 hours are allocated for completing this module, and for university examination 20% of the marks, total marks, will be from this module 5. The browser object model, or BOM, that is the first topic, that is what we are going to discuss now. There are no official standard for browser object model. Since modern browsers have implemented the same methods and properties for JavaScript interactively, it is often referred to as methods and properties of browser object model. The browser object model, or BOM, is used to interact with the browser. This BOM provides access to the various characteristics of browser window, screen characteristics, browser history, etc. These are some of the features of browser object model. The default object of browser is window. That means we can call all the functions of window by specifying window directly. If a document contains frames, that is what we are using iframe tag in our HTML code. The browser creates one window object for the HTML document and one additional window object for each frame that is used in our HTML code. One example is given here: window.alert hello world. The comparison between document object model and browser object model, DOM and BOM. Document object model represents the content of a web page. We can manipulate it using JavaScript. On the other hand, browser object model operates one level above the web page, which includes browser attributes, and the page becomes a child of the browser. So document, or our web page, is a child of our browser. We can use browser attributes like location, history, etc. In document object model, all the objects are arranged as a tree. So it has a tree structure. There are various application programming interfaces, or APIs, provided to access and manipulate the document. In browser object model, all global JavaScript objects, functions, and variables automatically become members of the window object. DOM is a W3C recommendation, goes beyond HTML, supports XML and XHTML as well. Functionality wise, DOM is different from BOM. Using BOM, we can move the window, or can change the text in status bar, read the current URL, go back or forward of the current page. These are the operations that we perform using browser object model. The BOM hierarchy is represented here. There are different objects in BOM, that is object hierarchy, browser object model object hierarchy, window, that is the main object. So as a part of window, we have different objects: navigator object, location object, document object, screen object, history object. These are some of the functionalities of window. With respect to navigator, that represents information about the browser. Location, information on the current URL. Document represents the current web page. Screen is used to display screen width, height, color depth, pixel depth, etc. The resolution related informations are provided by screen. History represents an array of URLs visited by the user. Now we will see more about window object. The window object is supported by all browsers. It represents the browser's window. All global JavaScript objects, functions, and variables automatically become members of the window object. Global variables are properties of the window object, and global function are methods of the window objects or operations. Properties and operations. Even the document object of the HTML DOM is a property of the window object. For example, window.document.getElement by ID of header. That is same as document.getElement by ID of header. No need to prefix window with the instruction. So that's why document object is a property of the window object. Normally we will not use document dot sorry window.document.getElement by ID. Instead we are using document.getElement by ID method. Now we will see the size related information of a window. Two properties can be used to determine the size of the browser window. Both properties retain the size in pixel. The first one is inner height and the second one is inner width. So the usage is window.innerWidth and window.innerHeight. So the inner height property, the inner height of the browser window is retained, that is in pixel. Inner width property, that will retain the browser window width in pixel. The browser window is the browser viewport, that is excluding the menu bars, toolbars, scroll bars, etc. So the browser window, the browser viewport is not including toolbars and scroll bars. Some example properties are there. For Internet Explorer version 8, 7, 6 and 5, document element dot client height, document element dot client width. Otherwise, document dot body dot client height, document dot body dot client width. So these four properties will retain height and width. So two different usages are there. In the first two instructions, document dot element is used. On the other hand, the last two instructions are replacing the document dot element by using body property or body object. Now we will see some window methods. Methods are to perform operations. Properties are giving or retaining some property values, some related information like height and width of a browser viewport. So methods: window.open, window.close, window.move to, window.resize to. So these are some of the methods of window property. So window.open, open a new window. Window.close, close the current window. Window.move to, move the current window. Window.resize to, resize the current window. So we will see one example for getting the height and width information from a browser window. So see in this program, HTML body tag is there, paragraph tag displays one comment, display the window size, then one paragraph is set there with an ID value is equal to demo to replace the content or to insert some content in this particular paragraph tag with the ID demo. In our script, one variable is there w, that is equal to window.innerWidth or document element client width or document body client width. So here three different instructions are there. that is given for the compatibility with different types of browser. Some browser may not support document.element object or body object. In that particular case, globally accepted window.innerWidth will work. Suppose some of the browsers are not compatible with window.innerWidth, then that will check for, or that will retain the instructions value from the second instruction document.element.clientWidth. If in a particular situation both the instruction 1 and instruction 2 is not compatible, then the third instruction will be considered, document.body.clientWidth. So that value will be represented. Similarly, variable x is defined for sorry similarly variable h is defined for assigning the height value of the browser window. var h is equal to window.innerHeight or document.documents_element.clientHeight or document.body.clientHeight. Now another variable is there that will be representing a particular element. That element is having an id value demo, that is our second paragraph element. var x is equal to document.getElement by id demo. Then as a next instruction, x.innerHTML is assigned with a value. So that means document x is representing document.getElement by id demo, that represents the p tag with an id value is equal to demo. So x.innerHTML will replace the content of paragraph tag with id demo. Browser inner width window width plus w will be replaced with the value, that is width value, comma, height plus h will replace with the actual client height or browser window height. Okay, so the script ends there, then closing the html tag. When you double click on that particular file, it will display browser inner window width is equal to some value, comma, height is equal to some value. This is how it works. Then another operation or method, open method, window.open method. So window.open with four different arguments: url, name, specs, replace. So url specifies the url of the page to open. Name specifies the target attribute or the name of the window. One example is blank. You can either give a blank value, otherwise you can give some other related values that we will see. Specs, comma separated values, loads of options are there. One example is height, another example is width, another example is the length, etc. Replace specifies whether the URL creates a new entry or replaces the current entry in the history list. True and false values are supported. Window.screen, window screen object. This object can be written without the window prefix. Properties are screen.width, screen.height, screen.availWidth, available width, screen.availHeight, available height, screen.color depth, screen.pixel depth. So these are the available properties or some of the properties of window screen object, window.screen object. One example is given here. So in our script tag, document.getElement by id demo.innerHTML is equal to screen width is plus screen.width. So directly screen.width value will be collected by the screen object, and that value is represented there as a comment. Screen width is, for example, width is 350 pixel, then screen width is 350. That is the value displayed by our program. Next thing is window screen color depth. Screen.color depth property retains the number of bits used to display one color. All modern computers use 24-bit or 32-bit hardware for color resolution. 24 bits means 2 raised to 24 different colors, that is 1 crore 67 lakhs 77,217 216 different true colors. So 24 bits are true colors. On the other hand, we are using 32-bit means deep colors. Okay, so that deep colors means 32-bit representation for a color value. 2 raised to 32 bits, 2 raised to 32 bit, 32 colors are there. That means 429 crore 49 lakhs 67,296 different colors or deep colors. Okay, older computers uses 16 bits or 8 bits of information for representing color. 16 bit means 65,536 different high color resolution. In very old computer and old cell phones or mobile phones used 2 raised to 8 different combinations. So 8 bit 2 raised to 8 means 256 different VGA, video graphic array colors. VGA colors are used. So suppose you will be getting a question to compare VGA color, high color, deep color and true color. Then the bit representation is changes there so that we can add more different colors. In 8-bit representation we can add only 256 different colors, that is 2 raised to 8, that is the size. In 16-bit representation we can add up to 65,536 different colors that are known as high colors. So 2 raised to 16 is the representation there, that is the number of locations for or number of colors allowed. Okay, so in our example, in our script, document.getElement by id demo.innerHTML is equal to screen color depth is equal to screen.color depth. So the color depth value will be retained there. Now, related to location. So the resource related information, location of our URL, or that is our web page, etc. Or we need to get the protocol, or we need to get the path name or host name, or we need to load a new document with a new URL. We will be using location object. Okay, so examples are, or the property values are, window.location.href that retains the hyperreference or URL of the current page. Window.location.hostname that retains the domain name of the web host. Window.location.pathname retains the path and file name of the current page. Window.location.protocol retains the web protocol used, that is our HTTP or HTTPS. Window.location.assign loads a new document. Window. That is, we need to give a particular URL for the assign method that we will see in the next program. Now we will discuss window.location.href that will retain the current URL, current web page URL, web pages URL. So in our script, see the script, document.getElement by id demo.innerHTML is equal to the full URL of this page is. In the next line, window.location.href, it's a property. So href will retain the location or URL ID of the location object related to the current web page is being displayed. Okay. Now the assign method that loads a new document. So window.location.assign, that is a method name that loads a new document. In our script, function is defined with the name new doc. Inside that function, window.location.assign with a new argument, that is for Google web page. So https://www.google.com. So on clicking on a button, a new page will be loaded. So that is the Google web page. So assign method loads a new document. So it's a new document for loading a new web document or web page. Okay. So this is how location dot assign method works. Location methods are assign, reload, replace, etc. So location object provides following methods to load or unload new documents. The properties are window.location.assign loads a new document that we already discussed in our previous example program. Window.location.reload reloads the current document. The replace method replaces the current document with a new one. Then comes history of browser. The window.history object can be written without the window prefix. So without window.history, we can directly write history dot the methods or properties. Okay. To protect the privacy of the users, there are limitations to how JavaScript can access this object. Some methods are history.back, history.forward, etc. So history.back same as clicking back button in the browser. History.forward same as clicking forward button in the browser. History object provides history.forward, history.back, history.go, etc. These are some of the methods of history object. So window.history.forward for forwarding, window.history.back for backward accessing of the previous URL, window.history.go -5, go back 5 times, -10 instead of -5 you are giving -10 means go back 10 times. Then for forward movement you give positive values, window.history.go to forwards 2 times. Then window.history.go, there also as a parameter an argument window.history.length -1, go last item. So it will be going to the last item. History.length will be giving the total length and -1 will give the next, the previous value. Go to the last item. Okay. Window.navigator. Window.navigator object can be written without the window prefix. Examples are app name, app code name, platform. So these are some of the properties: navigator.app name, navigator.app code name, navigator.platform. The cookie enabled property returns true in our program if cookies are enabled, otherwise false. The navigator object is the heading of this particular program. The cookie enabled property returns true if cookies are enabled. That is a message provided by the first paragraph in our program. Another paragraph with id is equal to demo is placed there. In our script, document dot get element by id demo dot inner html, navigator dot cookie enabled is navigator dot cookie enabled. That will return true if the cookies are enabled, otherwise false. That is a value returned by navigator dot cookie enabled property. More about navigator object. Document.write navigator app name equal to or colon plus navigator not app name. Navigator dot app code name. Navigator dot app version. Navigator dot user agent. Language. Platform. Cookie enabled. So these are some of the properties of navigator object. So this is the basic intro or basic introduction and properties and methods of different browser object model like screen, window, navigator, color, etc. Thank you. We will discuss more about browser object model in the next section. If you have any doubts, please ask me.